So welcome to this video. This video, as you can see on the title, is about A-frames. We've had an A-frame, we've towed our VW up behind our motorhome since about 2015. But these are the sort of questions that get asked regularly on the videos, and I see them all the time on Facebook. So I thought I'd do this video, and it was prompted by a comment from a Sally Newton, who actually gave me most of these questions. I've added one question of my own a little bit later. So if you want to see the playlist, that will be up here in a little link, and that's all the videos I've done on A-frames. So let's get on with the frequently asked questions. So how much does it cost to get the A-frame and the fitting? Well, bear in mind this was in 2017 when we had ours fitted. It cost us £600 to get the tow bar fitted on our Bolero back then, and about £2,500 to get the car converted with all the electronics that goes with it. It's from Tower Frame, and it's a smart glide system that we've got. Does it affect your insurance? We pay no extra for towing a car, but you do have to bear in mind that you have to let both insurers of both vehicles know that you're towing a car. When it's hooked up to the motorhome, the car becomes a trailer, and in that respect, when it's being towed, it's only third-party insurance on the car. So do bear that in mind when you're towing. So next question is, does it use a lot more diesel when we're towing? Well, we think it uses about 2 miles per gallon more when we're towing. So we go down from a sort of typical 27.5 miles per gallon when we're not towing to about 25.5 when we are towing. It's surprising it doesn't use more diesel when we're towing, but I suppose once you're rolling, you've got a bit of momentum and all that sort of thing. So next question is, do we pay extra when we turn up at a campsite with our motorhome and car? Well, no. Since we've been doing it, we've never been asked for any extra. We've got to bear in mind it's very similar to turning up with a car and a caravan. There's 2 spots on the pitch, and that's basically it. So next question is about weight. So what about weight? Can you still take the same amount in your motorhome, or does towing reduce this allowance? Now, I did a video about this, motorhome weights and what they mean. So link up here for that. But to summarise, your motorhome has something called the gross train weight, and that's the amount that your motorhome and your towed vehicle can weigh in total. And for most motorhomes it's somewhere at between 5,000 and 6,000 kilograms. And if you load up your motorhome fully up to its maximum, say 3,500 kilograms, it will actually reduce the amount that you're allowed to tow under the gross train weight. For our motorhome, which is maximum weight 3,850, if we load it up to that, we're still allowed to tow around about 1,400 kilograms. The up itself weighs 850 kilograms, so we're well within the limit for the gross train weight. But it will vary depending on the maximum weight of your motorhome and its gross train weight, so you need to check that out to make sure that you are allowed to tow within those capacities. The next question is, do I need a specific license, and is there an age limit? So the rules around this are quite complex, and they're under review at the moment. There were supposed to be some changes. They didn't implement the changes, but as we speak the rules are still under review. If you passed your test before the 1st of January 97, you've probably already got category 1E on your license. There's no age limit, but you will need to renew your category C1E license when you reach 70, and that involves an eye test and a medical, as I understand it. If you pass your test after the 1st of January 1997, you're limited to towing a trailer up to 750 kilograms or a vehicle combination up to 3,500 kilograms, and there's a slight variation on how they measure the weight that came in after the 18th of January 2013. So you need to check your license. Next question is, what cc do you consider the minimum engine size to be? So I assume we're talking about motorhome engine capacity here. Most modern 2-litre motorhomes like the Fiat Ducato, like the Peugeot Boxer, the Citroën Relay, Ford Transit, Mercedes Sprinter, and those sort of larger vans will be able to tow a car or a trailer behind them. I'm not so sure about the smaller vans, you know, the vans like the Transit Connect, Peugeot Partner. That would all depend on their towing capacity. Next question is, when towing a car, do the wheels turn when you're going around corners and bends? Well, yes, they do. They follow the motorhome's directions, and I try and liken it to a supermarket trolley. When you push or pull the supermarket trolley along, the wheels follow the way they're being pulled or pushed. In the car, what we actually do is we put the ignition key in and turn it and put it back to its normal position, and that switches off the steering lock, so the wheels are actually free to move and they follow the motorhome as you're going along. So the next question is, can you reverse with the car attached? Well, you can reverse a short distance, but if you start going around corners, unlike a supermarket trolley, the wheels can't reverse their direction, so the wheels tend to get a bit confused of which way they should be turning. So it's actually easier to unhook the car, and you can reverse and you can maneuver the car into position. We've done this many times. It's very simple to unhook and just drive the car into the parking spot or get it out of the way, depending on what you're doing. Question 9 is about, do you need towing mirrors? Well, the law is the same as it is for caravans. Put simply, if the trailer or the caravan is wider than the rear of the towing vehicle, you need to fit additional towing mirrors. And for most motorhomes you don't need mirrors because the motorhome is wider than the car. The law says you must have a clear field of vision 4 meters out from the side of your car and 20 meters back from the driver. So the last question is, can I tow with an A-frame when I'm going abroad? Well, my advice is don't do it. I know a lot of motorhomers do tow their motorhomes when they're going abroad, and there's something called the Vienna Convention, and the Vienna Convention says that what's legal in one country, and this is the signatures to the Vienna Convention, is allowed in the other country, even if it's not legal in that country. Now, if you fancy arguing that point with a Greek policeman, then fine. A lot of people report that they've towed their cars behind them in France, in Germany and all over the place, and they've never been stopped. If you are stopped, be prepared to unhitch the car, and you might have to drive the car solo behind the motorhome, so assuming that you've got someone who can drive the car. We don't do it for those reasons that we've outlined. And also, we don't actually feel that we need to take a car with us when we go on the continent. There's so much more room in France and Germany than there is in the UK. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and there'll be lots more information on A-frames in our videos to come.